We are back! Welcome to Popcorn Theory, Ghostface Let Us Go! If you don't know what I'm talking about and you think I'm just crazy, go and check out the last 6 episodes where Ghostface took over the entire show to talk about Stu's Clues, going over every single movie and all the clues that kind of reveal Stu is alive.
He's probably still crazy, though.
Now, a lot of details have dropped recently about Scream 7, including, hey, it's greenlit. Woohoo! We knew this was coming, honestly.
Yeah.
We have a new director in Christopher Landon, which, while I'm sad to see the others go, I'm excited to see Christopher Landon come in because I like what he's done.
I'm not sad about Christopher Landon.
And we also learned the where and when the filming will take place.
Scream 7 is set to begin filming in Montreal, January through April 19th, targeting a fall release. And it will also be filming under the title Blackbird.
Now, before we break down this interesting detail about Blackbird and some of the new details that we learned, it was recently revealed where Sidney is located at. And that was cut from being filmed in Scream 6. During the climax of Scream 6, where Detective Bailey is going along doing his supervillain monologue, Sam asks,
"And then what? When you're done with us, you just disappear?"
Bailey would have responded with,
"No. Then we go to the hospital to make sure Mindy and Gail don't pull through. Then we're going to fly to Seattle and pay Sidney a visit."
Now let's break all of this down and how it all kind of ties together.
The cutscene indicates the location of Sidney, and while Sidney was in the house where Richie died, I don't see the motive for Bailey to find and kill her. More to come on this.
Filming takes place during the winter weather months, meaning that we may be seeing a new twist on Scream, where we are getting a film that takes place in the snow and in a brand new state. And here's where it all ties together.
Scream 5's working title was Parkside Alpha, a nod to Scream's working title, which was Parkside. Scream 6's working title was Blackmore, a reference to the college in New York, for Scream 6 being more of a little tease to the movie. So what does Scream 7's working title as Blackbird tie in as a possible reference?
Seattle's second most common bird is a crow. In fact, they actually attack people there. My God, can you imagine walking around here in the Northeast and getting attacked from crows for just walking around?
Maybe it's because the weather's so crappy there that they're depressed.
Yeah.
It's like cloudy and rainy like most of the time, so maybe they're just mad.
Yeah, and living in a ickish area, we have hunting season, but I never heard of crow hunting season. Seattle, from September 1st through the end of the year, has open hunting season on crows so that they can control their population.
Yeah, that's like 4 months of hunting crow.
That's a lot of crows.
Yeah, it has to be, because that's a lot of months. What do we get for hunting season? Like 6-ish weeks or something? 4 months? That's insane.
Now, before you say, oh, well, blackbird and crows are not the same thing, when you look at blackbirds, there's a lot of various species or types of birds that are related to a blackbird. There's the actual blackbird, there's crows, there's ravens, and then there's several others that they just all fall under the category of blackbird.
And in many cultures, crows are symbolic for being harbingers of death and or transformation. Some spiritual meanings suggest that when a crow comes cawing, it's usually symbolizing that your past is calling with a reminder.
Now, with Seattle being in the Northwest, the cut of dialogue from Bailey, it would appear that Scream 7 is going to be taking a bigger step out of the norm for its franchise, shifting our next chapter back to Sidney and back to the past and possibly back to Stu.
Yes, the past would definitely indicate Stu.
Oh, yes, yes. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, go and take a look at those previous episodes of the Popcorn Theory and see why we still think Stu is possibly alive.
Get on the Stu train, people.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of people on the Stu train.
Yes.
I know this. But come on. If he's back, I'm doing my happy dance. I'm just saying.
The first thing that I want to address is, with it taking place in the snow, while it would be freaking awesome, because there's Never Hike Alone in the Snow, and if you don't know what that is, that's Jason Voorhees attacking in the snow. It's a very good fan-made film. Go check it out for free on YouTube.
It really is.
But having Ghostface in the snow comes with a slight complication. He's all in black, and a lot of his attacks take place at night, so he's able to really get around in the shadows and shift around and stuff like that. So I'm thinking with them going to a snowy area, we get to see the original idea for the costume come into play, and that is the all-white Ghostface. And having seen the costume, it doesn't look like a member of the KKK, and he kind of looks a little freaky.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And I mean, let's be honest, when you think ghost, right, you think of a white sheet. Right? I mean, that's when you're going back to the original, like how you dressed as a ghost. I mean, Charlie Brown, minus all the holes in it, like a potato. Or, you know, even in Halloween when Bob or whatever, well, it was supposed to be Bob, but it was actually Michael, put the sheet on his head, ghost, right? I mean, that's what we think.
And I'm thinking that Sidney and Mark are not going to be living in the city. They're probably going to be living somewhere off the beaten path, secluded, like we saw in Scream 3, where she was out in the countryside. So I'm thinking we're going to see the same thing. So for a Ghostface to come hunting in the snow, it's better to blend in with all white than to stick out in all black.
Probably not the smartest move for Mark and Sid, though, right? Because if Mark's still working for, say, like the police force or still as a detective, he's probably in Seattle, which means they're kind of far from help.
Maybe he's a local sheriff.
Oh, geez.
Right? Maybe he's a local sheriff in the town, right?
So now he's Dewey.
2000. Think about it. 2018 Halloween, we have Laurie Strode out in the boondocks hiding away. We have a little bit of the same here. We have the white Ghostface that comes stalking. And how cool is this, where the white Ghostface is actually Stu, because of the cult of Ghostfaces that we officially established. And
so now we are linking into the KKK.
Yeah, right? So we have the cult of Ghostface that was established in part 6 because of Jason and his tag team partner doing some killing on the side. And then you have Detective Bailey miraculously knowing where Sidney is, right? So why would he go to Seattle? He has no qualms against Sidney. It's dead. Yeah. It's in the past. Why do it?
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense, which I'm gonna take a little guess as to that's why it got cut and wasn't in the movie, because it really
reveals too much.
It reveals too much, because it does reveal, like, hey, something from the past is probably coming back, and also it really doesn't make sense. And I know that there are things in, you know, scary movies that don't make sense, right? They're horror movies, but that's really stupid for Bailey to have anything if he doesn't even know who Sidney is.
And I'm gonna beat on this dead horse one more time. The white robe is for Stu. If we notice with Jigsaw, his robe is different from his disciples' robes. So it makes sense that the one key character that everybody wants to see back, the figurehead for the cult of Ghostface, is going to be wearing a separate robe.
Right? Because why would anybody else but Stu don a different robe? No one else has. They've all donned the same black robe. So, I mean, variations on masks, but the same black robe.
Yes.
So it only makes sense that it would be someone who was in the past movies and who has been rumored to come back. It just makes sense.
Yes. After Scream 5 dropped, we just did a quick popcorn theory like we're doing this one here. And we said, you know what? Before it ever even broke, Nev Campbell didn't have to come back from 6. Let's establish the core 4, build them up, in hopes of having Sam snap and go crazy, and then she goes up against Sidney in the final part with Billy, or with Stu. Unfortunately, with this last part, at the end of the movie, I think that story arc is kind of dead and buried. Her dropping the mask at the end of the movie kind of symbolizes like, hey, I know I have my own demons, but I'm leaving those in the past. I'm dropping the mask and I'm leaving it behind. So to kind of pull that up and start that whole psycho story again, I think we're past it now. And I think with this film, with Melissa Barrera, Jasmine Savoy Brown, and Jenna Ortega being so busy.
You remembered her name.
I did.
She has 3 names and he remembered.
That's because it's the Scream Peeps. With them 3 being so busy, you can kind of get away with not having them in Scream 7. Yeah. In fact, we now have, unlike DC and Marvel, we have 2 distinct timelines that are in the same universe, but you don't need to have them intertwined right now. You can have those stories branch out and go separate. So we can have a Scream 7 on Sidney, and then we can come back to the others in Scream 8.
Yeah. So where you potentially end Scream 7 by either one of the 2 happening. You kill Sid or you kill Stu for real.
Yeah, because I can't see what the urge would be for Sam and Tara to be heading to Seattle. Unless Tara gets killed off in the beginning. That could be the reason why Sam snaps. Maybe they make Scream 7 a 2-part movie and do a Scream 7 and 8 because, Tara dies, Sam goes a little crazy, she runs into Stu, and then they go hunting for Sidney. That would be pretty awesome. A 2-part finale to this whole entire thing. I would love it. Before anybody does jump on the wagon and say, hey, they are busy filming and blah, 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 and they're not going to have time for it, so it may put some of these characters in danger, and that's why they would do something like this. Look, Scream 2 and Scream 3 filmed at the popularity and the height of Courtney Cox's career and Neve Campbell's. Yeah. Courtney Cox was on the biggest show on TV while filming those movies. So she was doing Friends and Scream.
And Neve was on Party of 5, and she was a core character. She was one of the Salinger kids.
Yes. We covered this in Scream Month with our Pop 5s, going over every single movie, and we talked about it. Neve Campbell, crazy, devoted person, was going from Party of 5, 3 days a week, going 3 days a week on Scream, sometimes doing doubles. That's how she was balancing it out. So while these actors and actresses may be busy, it's been done before. It's happened.
They figure it out. They are definitely professionals. They've been in this business a very long time, and they know how to juggle.
So I am thinking Blackbird is the hint that it's around a crow. The crow is the harbinger of death. The harbinger of death is Stu. That's why he's wearing the white robe, and it ties up the entire cult angle for the next part. We're going to Seattle. We're going to hunt Sidney, and Stu is coming.
I think so.
What theories do you have about Scream 7 from the little bit of details that are out there? Are you connecting the dots like we are? Do you think we're crazy? Those dots, they always show up and mean something in the prior movies, so pay attention to those.
Or maybe we're just seeing the dots and no one else does.
We all saw the dots on the train map where Stu is marked not dead, like the other characters were. So who knows?
I'm holding on.
Look, if it doesn't happen, I want to see in the next movie where it's officially confirmed he is dead. Right? Because it's never going to get wrapped up, and you're going to have all these debates online for years to come, and then what's going to happen is they're going to reboot the whole entire franchise, and we're going to be left with this giant thing out there. It's like, never found out if he was alive or dead.
Well, the issue is if they wanted him dead, they should have just made him dead instead of putting those stupid little Easter eggs in there constantly and then being like, no, he's dead. What? You can't do that.
Yeah, and you can't have writers saying, that TV hitting Ethan means he's dead, and then a producer's like, no, not really.
Exactly.
Anything can happen in the Scream. So we'll see. What do you think? Do you want to see a white robe Ghostface? I do. I think it'll be a nice change of pace. I think it'd be pretty cool. Blood in the snow, man, that's going to pop.
Oh yeah.
And I think Mark Kincaid's gonna die, like I've been saying. He is dead.
Leave Dr. McDreamy alone.
And the kids.
Whoa! Okay, on that note, we're done.
Anyway, don't forget to
like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Leave your theories in the comments, and depending on what we see, maybe we'll build a video off of that. Until the next,
See ya.